A new and forceful voice joined the growing push to remove Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem as Congresswoman Maxine Dexter stepped before reporters and accused the department of creating a culture where violence has become routine.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you to Representative Robin Kelly for meeting this moment with action and moral clarity. I am Congresswoman Maxine Dexter. I'm a mother, a physician, and the honored representative for Oregon's 3rd Congressional District. Last week, ICE murdered Renee Nicole Good in Minneapolis. The very next day, federal agents shot 2 people in East Portland in my district. These are not isolated events. This is part of a pattern of abuse by brazen, militarized federal agents who act without fear of being held accountable to the law. People are being disappeared. People are being assaulted. And now people are being murdered. And when our children and grandchildren ask what we did when our neighbors were being targeted, I cannot sleep unless I can say every single thing we could. That is why I'm helping introduce articles of impeachment to remove Kristi Noem from office. We've all seen her crimes play out right before our very eyes. She's willfully obstructed congressional oversight, denying members, as you have heard, of Congress to facilities they have a legal right to conduct oversight at. She's clearly violated public trust with her warrantless arrests, the use of violent force against U.S. citizens, including detaining 4 U.S. citizen children from my district and being held in a windowless cell at the border near Canada for weeks. And Kristi Noem has misused her position for personal gain while inappropriately using $200 million, taxpayer dollars, to fund an ad campaign to bring in ICE recruitment. These are not the best of the best folks that she's looking for. She is looking for people who are willing to invoke her lawless charade. I'm going to use every opportunity to implore my colleagues across this institution to wake up and join this effort, because protecting communities from unaccountable power isn't optional. That is our duty. Courage is contagious. And with that, I'm honored to yield to one of the most courageous among us, Representative Nydia Velazquez.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning.
The Oregon Democrat spoke not only as a lawmaker, but as a mother and physician, saying she could no longer stay silent while families in her own community live in fear. Dexter began with a chilling statement, saying that last week, ICE murdered Renee Nicole Good in Minneapolis. She then described how, the very next day, federal agents shot 2 people in East Portland, part of the district she represents. These are not isolated events, she insisted, but part of a broader pattern involving militarized federal agents acting without meaningful accountability. If you want reporting that connects the headlines to real communities, remember to subscribe so you can follow every update. The Congresswoman warned that people are being disappeared, assaulted, and now killed. She framed the issue in deeply personal terms, asking what she will tell her children and grandchildren when they ask what she did while neighbors were being targeted. "I cannot sleep unless I can say we did every single thing we could," she said, explaining why she is helping introduce articles of impeachment against Secretary Noem. Dexter accused Noem of willfully obstructing congressional oversight by blocking members of Congress from entering detention facilities where they have a legal right to inspect conditions. She also alleged warrantless arrests and the use of violent force against United States citizens. One example she highlighted involved 4 children from her own district who are American citizens but were detained for weeks in a windowless cell near the Canadian border. Please take a second to subscribe. Your support allows us to keep explaining these stories with depth and care. Beyond the allegations of abuse, Dexter charged that the DHS Secretary misused her position for personal and political gain. She criticized a $200 million taxpayer-funded advertising campaign aimed at recruiting more ICE agents, arguing that the message is not about professionalism, but about finding people willing to carry out what she called a lawless charade. The Congresswoman appealed directly to Republicans, urging them to wake up and join the impeachment effort. Protecting communities from unaccountable power is not optional, she said, calling it the basic duty of anyone sworn to defend the Constitution. Courage is contagious, she added, before yielding the microphone to Representative Nydia Velazquez. Her remarks reflect a rapidly intensifying debate over the direction of immigration enforcement. Supporters of Secretary Noem argue that DHS is restoring order and protecting national security after years of weak border policies. Critics counter that enforcement has crossed legal and moral lines, harming citizens and non-citizens alike. The impeachment push faces steep political obstacles, but Dexter's testimony adds emotional weight to the campaign. By tying national policy to specific incidents in Minneapolis and Portland, she sought to show that the consequences are not abstract but measured in real lives. We will continue to follow this developing story from every angle, so be sure to subscribe and stay informed.